I have a very, very serious video planned for today. But before I get into it, um, check out the new setup. Here it is. So this is the front-facing camera. I've got a few angles here. This is the overhead. And what I love about this is I can go ahead and zoom in, and it looks fantastic. It's nice and clear. And I can do demos and have a lot of fun with that. Okay. Oh, that's great. And finally, here's the dual angle. So this is both the front-facing camera and the overhead. Love it. And it took me a long time to set this up. I kind of knew what to do. I wanted to get cameras, and about a year ago, I was thinking about it. I was like, should I order the cameras? No, I can make do with what I have. Blah 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 blah. And I finally made the investment. I put everything together a couple days ago, and this is gonna be my first video that I post um, to YouTube or wherever using all this new equipment. So here, let's go ahead and go to the dual angle. I was hired to play for a summer camp earlier this summer. It was so much fun. It was my job to play for the morning classes and to also put together these 90-minute sets for the dancers. And so every evening I'd go outside, walk down the hill to an outdoor dance floor where they had a grand piano, and it was gorgeous. It was an incredible experience. Um, and I tried to like be a jukebox and play as much as I could, all different genres. And the primary focus, or I guess the goal of it, was to play dance music because I was accompanying them. But one time, I was sort of running out of energy, and this was at the end of the 2 weeks. I played for 2 weeks there. And I was running out of ideas, I was running out of energy, and the music director came up to me and she put this book in front of me, opened it up, and said, "Play this. Just go for it. It's gonna be a lot of fun." And what she opened up for me was this. And this is gonna be kind of choppy because I just pulled it up on the computer. So I'm gonna have to do page turns, but whatever, get the idea. Here we go. In here, I'll go into the main theme. Okay. So everybody, when I started playing it, everybody like turned into crabs, and it was a lot. It was a really fun time. And it turns out the song is like 10 pages, and nobody knew how long it would go for, including me. So that was pretty fun. Uh, the I wanted to bring this one up because it's lighthearted, it's fun. I thought it'd be a good first piece to throw in here with all this new equipment, and I don't even know what I'm going to cover in today's video. I just wanted to spend some time talking about whatever comes up. Uh, I think that I've had an easier time when it comes to reading music than a lot of people, and that comes from a set of ideas or concepts that I'm pretty familiar with. And the three concepts are this: there's scales, chords, and inversions. There's no secrets to it. It's just a lot of boring stuff. Um, Whenever I look at a piece of music, I'm not looking at the individual notes as much as I nearly used to. When I first started learning how to read sheet music, I think like everybody, the main goal is to identify, oh, which note am I playing, and then to get it perfectly. And then if you get it wrong, the teacher goes, oh wait, double check that, double check that. Um, but that isn't the case so much anymore. When I look at a piece of sheet music like this for the first time and just play it, I'm looking out for uh, one thing mainly, which is chords. But it all comes together into a system called functional harmony. And let's see if we can get to that by the end of this video. So let's just go ahead and start with the intro. There are two chords there. Actually, before I mention the chords, I'm going to mention the scale. We're in the key of B flat major. And This scale has two flats in it, B flat and E flat. Here's what the scale looks like. B flat, C, D, E flat, F, G, A, and B flat. All major scales follow the same formula. Here's our starting note. This is our root note. Whole step, half step, whole step, half step. A whole step, so a half step is two notes that are directly next to each other. And a whole step are just two of those combined. So a whole step up from B flat is C. And then a half step up from C is C sharp. And a half step up from C sharp is D. And then a whole step up from D is E. All major scales follow the same set of whole steps and half steps. Here's B flat, whole step, half step, whole step, half step. Oh, sorry. Here's B flat, whole step, half step, whole step, half step. If you pick any note on the keyboard at all, you will end up with the major scale if you follow that formula. Go ahead, try it out. Let's do G. Actually, let's do C. Here's C. Whole step, half step, whole step, half step. Now, this scale is the set of notes that we're going to use for the piece of music. In this case, we're using B flat major. And most of the notes within this song are going to be in that scale. Okay, so these two chords, now we can start to get into the chords a little bit. There's two chords in here, which is B flat major and F dominant 7. Both of these chords contain notes that are within the B flat major scale. Okay, B flat major is called the tonic, and that's basically home base. That's where the song starts and it's where it ends. That's where you start to hear, that's where you hear resolution. Here's F7 resolving to B flat major. Now, B flat major is a major triad. It's based off of the major scale. If I were to pick apart all of the notes and explain the relationships between each of the component notes, they follow, again, just like the major scale, they follow a specific formula. So all major triads, a triad is a 3-note chord, have two intervals within them. They have a root note. And the first interval is a major third. The major third is 4 half steps. So if I take B flat and I go up 4 half steps from B flat, 1, 2, 3, 4, I'll end up on D. And I think actually, I'm going to zoom in a little bit and go just overhead here. This is, yeah, here we go. So here's B flat. And if we go up 4 half steps, you'll end up with B flat and D. And this interval, or this distance, is known as a major third. All major triads have a major third in them. This is the major third for B flat. Okay, let's move on to the second interval, which is between B flat and F. This is a perfect fifth, and a perfect fifth is 7 half steps. So here's B flat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, so when we take a look at these two notes here, we're looking at a perfect fifth. Major third between B flat and D, and a perfect fifth between B flat and F. This is B flat major. Okay, we're also going to form F dominant 7. Okay, so we can form the F major triad using the same set of intervals. Take the root, go up 4 half steps to form the major third. That's A. And then go up 7 half steps from the root F to form the perfect fifth, and you'll end up with the major triad. Okay, now we have one extra note though, and we have one extra interval. It's the 7. This is a dominant 7, and the dominant 7 is a minor 7. Okay, so here's where we start to dive into other scales. This is why having some knowledge of scales beyond the key that you're in is pretty important. So here's the F major scale. It has one flat in it. Here's F, whole step, half step, whole step, half step. There's a B flat in the middle. So you watch out for that. But we actually don't really. That's not too important for what we're about to do next. So if we locate the 7th scale, I take that back. Okay, all flats and sharps are important in scales, no matter what I say. Okay, so scrap whatever I said about the B flat. This is very important. Anyway, if we take the F major scale and we find the 7th scale degree, here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We'll end up with E. This is the 7th scale degree, the 7th note of the F major scale. Okay, we're gonna lower it and make it a minor 7. This is a major 7. This is a minor 7. And a minor 7, I believe, is 9 half steps. Let me double check. It might be 10. I think it's 10 actually. Here's F. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, here it is. So that extra interval, the minor 7, is 10 half steps. And if we throw that onto the chord that we have already formed, the triad, we end up with an F dominant 7. Here it is. And that creates a nice tense sound that wants to be resolved to B flat. Okay, so when we take a look at the intro here to Under the Sea, let me refocus, sorry. There we go. We're just cruising between these two chords. That's it. We're just alternating between those two. Here, take a look. So that's an arpeggio. That's B flat major inverted. An inversion is where we take a chord and rearrange it. So if we have B flat major, if I take the bottom note and I bring it up a half step, not up a half step, sorry, let me restart. If I take B flat major and I take the bottom note, B flat, and bring it up an octave, okay, here's B flat. I'm going to bring it up 1 octave while keeping D and F. All of the notes of the B flat major triad have stayed the same. It's the same chord, but it's in a different position now. That's because this is an inversion of B flat major. And part of the reason reading music is so difficult, and trying to extract information from the notes that are written down, part of the reason it's so difficult is because music is full of inversions. There's no escaping from inversions. Truly, they're everywhere. I truly, apart from like method book songs where inversions are deliberately left out, they're everywhere. They're in every piece of music. And I've yet to come across a piece of music that doesn't incorporate inversions, at least to some degree. Okay, so this is first inversion. If I repeat that process, I take the bottom note and I bring it up an octave, D, while keeping F and B flat. This is B flat major in second inversion because I've taken the root position where the root is the bottom note and I've inverted it up twice. Okay, if I do that one more time, and I take the bottom note F and I bring it up an octave, I will end up back in root position. Here's root position. Here's second inversion. Here's first inversion. And then here's root position again. Okay, now an arpeggio is where you take a chord, any chord, and you just break it up note by note. That's an arpeggio there. That's an arpeggio. Okay, so this arpeggio at the beginning of the song, that's in first inversion, B flat. So that's a B flat chord. And we have a third here up on the top. Here's F. Okay, now we've moved into a different chord. This is F dominant 7. That's where that E flat comes from. Because an F chord doesn't have an E flat, but the F dominant 7 does, and so that's how we know it's an F7. There it is. Here's B flat major. Moving to F dominant 7, back to B flat. I mentioned tonic and dominant. The role of tonic is to be the home base and to be where the song resolves, and F7 is supposed to, or it's is the dominant function, and that is tension, and that's like, we don't want to stay on this tension too long. We want to resolve it. As you can see right here within the first two measures, we've got a perfect example of how these two functions work together. All right. Here's B flat major. Moving to the F7 dominant, which resolves straight away back to B flat. Okay, we have a similar, actually an identical a set of chords here. It's the same thing, B flat, arpeggio. Here's the F, F7, because now I've added the E flat, and then this 6, this interval is a 6 that resolves down to B flat major. The thing about having these chords ready at your disposal is you can kind of change the genre if you want to. Now it's like it's almost a nocturne, but it's the same melody. And what did I mean when I was talking about how to what did I mean when I was talking about how to like when I was reading music, what do I mean by I'm not really looking at the notes so much? I'm looking at the chords, the inversions. This is what I'm talking about. Each individual note becomes less, not less important, but it becomes less of a focus. And these notes start to become representations of something different, of something greater, of some greater structure that holds the music together. And that's what I'm trying to get at here. So let's actually go a little bit further into the song here. I'm having a lot of fun playing with these cameras. We'll go a little bit further, and I'm gonna approach the rest of the page from that same perspective, starting with E flat. Here we go, under the C, moving to B flat major. Here's F7. A lot of these little effects I'm doing, or I'm adding a lot of notes to create movement with the left hand. These aren't written down. At least most of them are written down. A lot of them are I'm just adding them in, again, just to create movement and to personalize it and to have fun with it. Where are these notes coming from? They're coming from chords, scales, and inversions. So here's an E flat chord, E flat chord. What's actually written down on the page is this. That's it. And that does kind of create the Caribbean effect, I suppose, but I'm just I want to make it swell a little bit and give it some energy here. So I went ahead and added this full new position. Here's the F7, moving back to B flat. I wonder if I can do that actually. That sounds pretty fun. So what was that? We got off that F7, we moved to B flat major, led up to E flat. Here's F7 again. I have this shape here. This looks like a C minor, but it's not. And the most obvious reason is because we've got this F in the bass, but also that's just the melody. That G comes right down to F, and it turns it into an F dominant 7. And so this is just like a passing note. It's part of the melody. This is a very nice chord. E flat, A, and D. That's like it's like an F13 pretty much. Okay. There's one concept that I wanted to cover that I knew was going to be in here, and it's the secondary dominant. A secondary dominant is outside of the key of of the key of B flat. So I just played a B flat dominant 7, B flat, D, F, and A flat. Now the purpose of a dominant chord is to create tension that can be resolved. That's the function of it. But this dominant chord, B flat, dominant, this is not in the key of B flat, because look, there's a flat that we haven't seen yet. It's A flat. A flat is not in the B flat major scale. So what do we actually do about it? This means we're stepping into a different scale, and this is very common to see in popular music. Secondary dominance. This secondary dominant is a dominant chord, but it's called secondary because it's outside of the key of B flat. It's gonna set up a tension and release outside of the key of B flat. Okay, so what are we moving to? We're moving to E flat major. The secondary dominant, or the dominant chord in general, is always located a fifth up in root position. It's located a fifth up from where it's going to resolve, and a fifth down from B flat is E flat. And so voila, look at that. So where did that A flat come from? It came from the E flat major scale. That's what we're moving to. Well, so primarily in this song, we've got 3 chords: B flat major, F major, also F7, and E flat major. So it's pretty straightforward. But in every single instance, we have used the scale of each chord. We have used B flat major. We are now using E flat major to make sense of that B flat dominant 7, the secondary dominant, and we have used F major to form F dominant 7. This is why all of these scales and chords and inversions are so important. They're everywhere. There's no escaping them. And so that's why you can look it up on your own. So I've been a teacher for a while, and of course I've created a resource that helps my students figure out, okay, what are you seeing here? All the scales, all the chords and inversions I have listed out. And that's what I recommend people to go ahead and check out. But you can just look it up on your own. Go ahead on YouTube and start looking up these concepts. Okay, so major scales. That's already that's huge. Okay, you could spend like a year just doing major scales. But major scales, minor scales, and there's 3 different minor scales. There are natural minor, harmonic minor, and melodic minor. And you'll often see in pieces of music, you'll borrow sometimes from this scale, borrow from this scale. Okay, sometimes you'll move to a minor. Like, having all of these in your back pocket will help you make much more sense of, like, it'll help you a ton. I promise that. Okay, major scales, and then the 3 minor, natural, harmonic, and melodic minor. And I also recommend like getting familiar with major pentatonic scales, the minor pentatonic scale, which is the blues scale, and just being aware of them. I actually am not the most familiar with the blues scales. I can't go ahead and play all of them like I can, like with the majors. So take a look at them, but it's not the biggest deal, at least for me. Okay, and then becoming familiar with every chord. Okay, so there's a bunch of different kind of chords too. The major triad, minor triad, diminished triad, augmented triad. Okay, once you've got the triads, you can start to build off of them, extend them. So we'll take the C major triad and turn it into a C major 7. Let's take the C major triad, turn it into the C dominant 7. Let's take the C minor triad, turn it into a minor 7. And then let's take the diminished C, turn that into a half diminished 7, and then diminished 7. And we can do augmented major 7. We can do minor major 7. Okay, then we're not done there yet. Inverting all of them. So learning how to invert all these chords will free up your playing, I promise. That will do wonders. Oh, I should have zoomed back out. If you learn how to invert all these chords, you're unstoppable. And it starts with looking at whatever you're currently playing, looking at whatever music you are interested in, and I used to advocate for method books and building up from square one, but I don't think that really resonates with anybody. Unless someone else agrees, like, yes, I want to start from ground zero and restart. I think a much more applicable way, like a much more sensible way to start learning your fundamentals, is to actually do things you're interested in. So that way you don't have to force yourself, and that way it actually helps you in real time. So if you've got a piece in the key of B flat, learn the B flat major scale. Maybe just one hand, that's fine. Just be aware of the scale and be able to see on your keyboard. That's probably the most important thing. Learn all of the chords that can be formed in the key of B flat major. Okay, so here's B flat, C minor, D minor, E flat major, F major, G minor, A diminished, B flat. Okay, invert all of those chords. And if you do this, I promise you that piece, whatever you're playing, that song, all of the notes and where they come from and how how certain structures and harmonies move together and or relate to one another, it will become so much more clear. And so instead of looking at individual notes, you will be looking at chords, scales, and inversions. Now, all of this ties together into functional harmony, and that's been the most helpful lens to look at music for me personally. Functional harmony is the idea that each chord has a function, it has a role, and when I'm looking at Under the Sea from The Little Mermaid, what I'm looking at is the chords and which one, where is this going to go? Like, I've got that B flat dominant 7. Oh, okay, that's going to go to E flat, and then that's probably going to go to F, and that's going to go to B flat, and maybe it goes in a little circle. If I got that F dominant 7, I know I'm going to go back to B flat, and that just helps. It helps a ton. And when those inversions and chords are just second nature, I've got them. They're in my hands. They're muscle memory. That's really the moment, I think, that my playing began to really free up. So go ahead, check out Fundamentals if you want to, or just look up all these concepts on your own. Either way, just get them in your brain, because this is fun. This is what makes music fun, at least for me. And the same way that I had so much fun playing piano for those dancers, playing The Little Mermaid, that was truly just joyful. And I want to give that to you. I want you to be able to experience that and to get hired or just go play for your friends, your family, and to sing and dance. It's so much fun. And to be the driver of it, to deliver that energy, to have the piano ring through the room, ring through the dance floors. It's so much fun. So thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, subscribe to the channel. This is the perspective I generally take, and I try to find as many examples as I can to display this information. So thanks for watching. Appreciate it, and happy practicing.